You've probably heard of the quote that if you conquer the morning, you conquer the whole day. And it is very, very true. So it is incredibly important for you as a young, ambitious, masculine man to conquer every single morning. Which means that no more waking up and going on your phone just a little bit. No staying in bed because you don't have anything to do and your tasks start an hour later. And definitely no sleeping in because you slept bad last night. If you ever sleep bad, that's your own fault, and the day after shouldn't have to suffer because of that. And so because it is so important for you as a young, ambitious, masculine man, this is exactly how you conquer every single morning and why it is so important. It is so important because it sets the tone for the entire rest of the day. And it's important to do that early on because you want every single day to be good, fulfilling, and very productive. And if you do it early on, it means that you have more energy and more mental strength to do more productive and good things later on in the day. Because if you spend the first few hours of your morning messing about and doing things that aren't important, that uses up energy, and that will be energy that you will no longer be able to use because you wasted it on pointless things. A good analogy is basically that you speed up to 100 miles an hour and you stay at 100 miles an hour, and you don't start off at 60, go up to 100, slow down, stop here, go back on, 60, 80, 100, 100 for a bit, more 100, and then stop again. The goal is to stay at 100 miles an hour throughout the entire day and as much as you can. And so what's the very first thing that you should do when you wake up in the morning? Get up. You get out of bed and don't waste any time laying about because it's comfortable or because it's warm. And then the exact order in which you do things after you get up isn't overly important. But what I do after I wake up is I first drink a good bit of water. Like at least half a litre of water, and I would try to push myself to drink more. But of course I don't want to drink too much because it will make me feel sick. Because if you've slept well, it means that you've went around 8 hours with no water. And if you did that during the day, you know how awful that would be. And so it's no difference because you've been sleeping. You need to hydrate yourself. And of course it's important to hydrate yourself, but also because dehydration makes you tired. And so if you sometimes have a good amount of sleep and then wake up tired, it's very likely that you're just dehydrated. And so if you wake up a bit tired and you drink a lot of water, that should wake you up. But even if it doesn't, you've just drank hopefully close to a litre of water, and so you should be busting to piss. And so even if you don't feel super awake, you're going to have to get up so you don't piss yourself. And then the second thing, it's to splash your face or submerge your face in cold water. And the reasoning behind it is very simple. Because if you're at a normal body temperature and you're not too warm and you're not too cold, and if you were to feel water that is around 5 degrees Celsius, it is going to be a shock to your system. And that's basically it. You put cold water, an external stimulus that shocks the system because of how different it is, on an area of your body that is very sensitive, being your face. And do it as much as you need or as much as you want. And in addition to the shock thing, the cold water is just very refreshing, especially just after waking up. And then thirdly, after drinking water and putting cold water on your face, go outside, because when you go outside and experience the brightness of the sun, set your circadian rhythm. And you being outside and taking in lux, which is basically a measurement of how bright it is, will send signals to your brain telling you that it is daytime and you should be awake. And it is as simple as that, and this still holds true even when it's very gloomy and cloudy. There will still be lux, but there won't be as much, and so you'll just have to be outside for longer to get the same level of awakeness as if the sun was out. And whether you're going outside for a walk or you're just standing outside your garden, you need to be outside for around 10 minutes within the first hour of waking up. And if you need another reason to get up out of bed and go outside first thing in the morning, being outside and getting light directly from the sun increases your testosterone. And so if you want bigger muscles and bigger balls, get outside. Because when you go outside and take in the sun's light, you get an increase in dopamine. And dopamine and testosterone are linked, and your testosterone increases. And in addition to that, intaking direct sunlight gives you vitamin D, which also helps you increase testosterone. And you don't need to directly look at the sun or anything. You just need to be outside, and your body will do the rest of the work for you. And so what about after you drink water, put cold water on your face, and then go outside and come home? Well, I would strongly recommend every single man to journal and meditate quite early on in the morning. Because the way I would describe journaling and meditation is that they are juggernauts for mental stability. Because when you journal, You get all of the useful thoughts and feelings and ideas out of your mind and onto the page, which means that you will no longer have to think about them, because if you need to go back and remember what you were thinking, it'll be there on the page. And even if they're good productive thoughts on what you should do later in the day, you should still write them down so that you don't have to keep thinking them over and keep thinking them in case you forget. And basically journaling just clears your mind and allows you to go forward without thinking about other pointless things or other little things that you need to do but you know aren't actually that important. And then you would meditate, which is basically just increasing your ability to stay in the present moment and increase your self-awareness. And of course, it's very important to stay in the moment when you're a young, ambitious, masculine man, because you're going to have work to do, or you're going to try to improve yourself further, or you're just going to be doing good things, and you need to stay in the moment and thinking about them and not thinking about what you did a day or a week ago and not thinking about what you need to do next. You need to be in the moment, focusing on what you're doing now so that you can do it as best as possible. And self-awareness is just as important. There's not many men who have grown up without doing bad habits. Almost everyone has that one bad habit that they did so much when they were young, and it still kind of sticks with them to this day. And so nearly any meditation protocol just forces you to think and be in the moment. Whether it's feeling the sensations of your body, or focusing on your breathing, hearing the sounds around you, or feeling the sensation of the surface that you're resting against. All of that forces you to think about things that are in the moment. And so if a time comes where you suddenly feel an urge to do a bad habit that you haven't really been doing, but the urge comes up, you don't know why, but it's there, and now you're thinking about it. You meditating and increasing your self-awareness means that you get this bad thought, but then your self-awareness kicks in and you think about your morals and what you actually want. And so the bad thought comes in and says, oh, it's okay if you watch a little bit of porn because you've been productive all day, but you know that it's bad and you know that you don't want to do that, and doing that will harm your soul. And so you have these two conflicting ideas, and then with self-awareness you have the choice to choose between the two. And so you would cut off the conflict, forget the bad thing, and immerse yourself into something that takes up your attention and mental space so that you don't even have energy or time to think about doing the bad habit. And so after journaling and meditating, you face on your biggest task first. And for two reasons. One, because the morning is when you have the most mental energy and you haven't wasted any of your energy on making decisions, no matter how small. And two is that it once again confirms the tone that you've set for yourself. Because if you've gotten out of bed first thing, drank water, put cold water on your face, went out for a walk, journaled and meditated, it means that you're already going 100 miles an hour. So why would you slow down and check your emails and see if you have any messages to reply to, and check analytics and watch a little bit of a YouTube video because it's informative, or read a bit? You're not going to do that, because you need to maintain going 100 miles an hour for as long as you can throughout the day, because that's the only way that you will get the most good and productive things done. And with that, you now know everything that you need to conquer every single morning. And all you need to remember is get up first thing in the morning, drink some water, put cold water on your face, get outside and get some sunlight, journal, meditate, and face on your biggest task first. If this video has helped you, make sure you subscribe because it means a ton. Put in enough time and attention because that will make anything into reality.